All right.
Okay.
Welcome, Barbara from Lualish, back
Okay.
again. And so today I was thinking we could talk about free will versus destiny.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to ask you what you think about this idea of free will. Do we have free will in this life as humans? What do you think?
um, I would say maybe if you would ask me a year ago, I would say yes, we do. Now I'm not sure, and it might change again next year.
And what
So
made you? Did something happen to you that made you change your mind about that?
yeah, because until a year ago, I was really focused on understanding how my past had an impact on my life at the moment, my life at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly I became really aware of all the the consequences, the impacts, the results of experiences that I had. And then I started also thinking about, the how they impact or so many other things, not just your childhood experiences, but all conditioning, gender,
Yeah.
nationality, um, yeah, culture, everything has an impact on us. So maybe at that time, until then, I thought, yes, we have free will. We decide what we want, and we decide what we want to do in our lives. Because I didn't really think much about it. Suddenly, I realized, oh, actually, don't, because I started being really aware of that impact and realizing all the weight that we carry and yeah, and then I came to a point of understanding things a bit better and going deeper in my process and meditating also. And I think this brought me a huge awareness of how we actually have more free will than I was thinking at the time. I don't think we have free will for everything, as I don't believe that fate rules everything.
So
uh,
is it like a 50-50 thing? Like
I
some
don't
things
know
are fate and
percentages. I'm
something,
still observing
but
it.
is
Yeah.
it part fate or destiny and part you have partly a choice to make decisions that
Yeah,
affects
I
your
think you have
reality?
partly a choice, especially in depending on how much aware of yourself you are and how much present you are in your life,
Oh,
in
interesting.
yourself.
Okay.
I have this feeling, but uh, in general, I think in thinking the fate or whatever that can be the word for that can it's a big it has a it exists, and it's a big thing. But
Hmm.
I think we can there maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I think we can get out of that. And I think through meditation I understood that there is a choice in many of the behaviors, for example, that we inherit, or the culture or the beliefs or the values or whatever that condition our behavior. And through meditation I understood that there is a space that can be created where you don't act only upon that inheritance. You can actually overcome that and decide with more wisdom, with more awareness, where you want to go and what you want to do with yourself.
Yeah.
And that was great. But I don't know, because things change so much.
Yeah.
um I might just come to this conclusion that no, in some time, that no, we don't have free will. But at the moment I'm enjoying the possibility of it. Yeah.
That's that's a nice point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're open to the possibilities of could be either way.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
always, because I'm aware of how it changed. you know
Right.
I
Yeah.
studied philosophy many years ago, and when I was studying these issues, I was so certain about everything. Oh, of course it's this. Oh, of course it's that.
Yeah.
And of course this was 30 years ago. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's all about your experience and how you
Right.
see.
Yeah.
And so my experience tells me that yeah, there is. I would like that there is some free will.
Yeah.
I don't see much of a point that
Uh-huh.
fate rules everything, or even or a god. I was really focusing on the most um, what do you call psychological part of it, of this approach, which is to talk about culture, trauma, beliefs, values that are passed to you, through your family. And but
Mhm.
even a god that just decides what is gonna what you're gonna be doing, what you
Yeah.
experience, and all that. I don't know, it doesn't fit in my it doesn't fit comfortably in my view.
Uh-huh.
but
Right.
but
Like an
but yeah,
all-powerful God that determines every single thing in your life. Or
you know
even that a God that can affect your life
I
without
don't even
your
imagine any being caring so much for whatever is going on here at the
right.
moment, honestly. Why
Right.
would, and especially if we put values in it, like, oh, and God would want you to develop yourself, or would want you to experience the best things for you to grow. And okay,
Yeah.
if I'm God, if I consider myself God, of course I can see that God wants that.
Yeah. Right.
But even those values are so dualistic in the end, and I'm sure God is not about that. Probably it doesn't
Right.
make sense to me that isn't that he she whatever is it. So these great experiences or bad experiences, it makes sense to me that this is all part of the same, of the point we are here. This is what makes sense, that is not, there isn't a God, like defining your experiences and your decisions for you to achieve whatever. um and some people say, and those experiences and those decisions would be good things, they would be positive things, for your growth, for your development and all that. And I still have difficulty in seeing that, because why would God care that much? That's really the thing, like care in the sense of for what goes on to individuals.
Oh, I see. Right.
And individuals with different individuals with different perspectives, like one is doing something that is completely the opposite of the other, like
Right.
one is putting wind turbines in a mountain and the other doesn't
Right.
want. Why would God
Yeah.
direct the decisions of these two people,
Right.
which are opposite?
Right. Right.
Okay, you can say he's having fun.
Yeah.
Great.
Right.
Sometimes it's not that fun.
Yeah.
That he's having fun.
Right.
he
Sure.
he it she whatever. In
Yeah.
Portuguese, Deus is masculine, so
Right.
yeah,
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
like it, but that's
Yeah.
yeah.
And Portugal is a very Catholic,
Yeah,
typical
conservative, yeah.
conservative
Uh-huh.
Catholic country,
Yeah.
and with a very conventional view of this Christian idea of
Mm-hmm.
God being all powerful and
Mm-hmm.
omniscient.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a typical Christian point of view in other Christian traditions as well, including the one that I grew up in. Yeah, it's interesting. Um, I'm also familiar with other traditions of Christianity which don't have that point of view. They have more
Okay.
of a point of view of, it's more like Vedic, the Vedic idea of Brahman, which is also God. Um, but God is something that we all are. It's not this separate, um, all-encompassing entity that controls things in our lives. It's all us.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some Gnostic traditions that study the teachings of Jesus that coincide with these Vedic traditions as well, where they're saying basically that God is what we all are, and this life is about discovering that we are all this one thing, that we are all this divine being. We're just the seemingly separated from this one being that we all are, and we're all having an apparent separate experience. And God, like we were talking about this before, where God
Mm-hmm.
is just playing, and we're part of what's happening within
Mm-hmm.
that play. Um, and so, yeah, it's interesting to talk about these different human conceptions of God, and in the different traditions, not just in Christianity or the Vedic traditions, but they're all, yeah, there are a lot of similarities between these alternative traditions of
What are the Christian ones you were mentioning?
the Gnostic
Mm-hmm.
traditions. I don't know what they're officially called, but there are sects of people that study like the Dead Sea Scrolls
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
the Book of Thomas, I think. And there are other ones I can't remember right now, but these are very similar to the Vedic traditions,
So
and
they look at God as something that we are also,
yeah,
that we are.
yeah, that we all
That is
are.
not something like
Yeah,
the normal
it's
Catholicism, that is
something.
something behind
No,
us
it's not
and
this
or
bearded
above
man up in the
us.
sky
Yeah.
that like
Mm-hmm.
controls us. It's
Yeah.
not that way. It's completely different.
Yeah. It makes
So
sense to me that it's the one that makes more sense, but at the same time, it doesn't. I don't know.
yeah,
It
right.
doesn't answer everything.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so that's interesting. I I also I really like Ramana Maharshi's point of view on free will and destiny,
Mhm.
even though I don't fully buy into it. But I'll tell you how it
Yeah,
goes.
please.
So basically, Sri Ramana Maharshi said everything is predestined in this life as a human.
Mm.
So me picking up these glasses and then dropping them, that was all part of the plan. It's all, every single batting of your eyelash was
Mhm.
is part of this cosmic intelligent um, plan that is being carried out.
Mhm.
Um, however, he also talks about karma, and from what I understand, he believed in the traditional understandings of the Vedic teachings of karma.
Which are.
So there's karma that plays out, that
Mhm.
has already been formed, already been caused, and is playing out as this life. And that's one kind of, or one part of karma. And then there's the karma that you're creating now for the future.
Mm.
So there's the effect of it, and then there's what you're creating now that will have an effect in the future at some point. And then there's the karma, which is all the karma that's been created. And that is a whole body of everything that you've ever um, said or done.
In this life, not
No,
past lives
in
also.
all past lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Since the beginning.
Yeah. So he said that the karma that is it's called prarabdha karma, and that's the karma that is playing out now. He said that's just set. You can't do anything about that, so you have no control over that.
Mhm.
But you have control. Well, if you're creating karma, then you must make some decisions, right? You must, unless it's on autopilot and it's just creating itself, because things that are playing out now you're creating also karma for the future. So are you making free will decisions? Are you free to make decisions to to go one way or another?
Mhm.
So that's the question I had. Um, and it's it's a very subtle thing.
Yeah, it's a good point because why? I mean, it would be so unfair. I know it's very, very basic to see it like this, but it would be so unfair that we're not even being responsible for deciding things, but we're already getting the karma from it.
Yeah, yeah,
Bloody hell! Like,
yeah. It's kind of,
it's
yeah,
too much. Come on.
yeah, yeah. So that's where I'm like, I don't know about that. Um, However, there is one thing that he said that's interesting to me,
Mhm,
and that is that everything in this life is predestined except for one thing. And that one thing is you can decide to play along with what's happening and to continue to identify as a body, mind, and go with that, go with with the programs,
mhm.
or you can decide to not identify with what's happening
And break
and
free from it.
be free from it, and you have that is your free will. So that is the only free will you have, but that's the most important free will, because then you can go beyond karma with that free will. Once you go beyond the ego, karma does not apply anymore, because there's no one to have karma.
Mhm,
There's no one to be to experience the effect of karma, and there's no one to cause uh, karmic karmic effects in the future. So you're
but
not
that
affecting
means
anything.
that the free will decisions that were being made in free will, they're they're all positive? Are they all
What does that mean?
because they don't create karma then?
So when you go beyond the ego, there's no karma. There's no
Okay.
the mirror of self and other is gone, right? There's because once the
Yeah.
ego is gone,
Yes. Yes. So
there's no
that
longer
love.
identify.
Yeah.
You're no longer identifying with the body,
Mhm.
and so therefore there's no self and other. There's only isness. There's only beingness, and so there's there's no I to have an effect on something else either. There's no person
Mhm.
to to
Yes.
affect their reality, because
Yeah.
it's all just happening. It's all just everything is just appearances are playing out,
Yeah.
and you are the one,
Mhm.
your awareness.
So that is after enlightenment.
Yes, but also when you are moving towards enlightenment,
Mm.
you're having certain experiences,
Okay.
then this whole play of karma decreases, it starts to fade, and you start to see through
Mhm.
the concept of cause and effect, and how that is just an appearance and it's not really happening at all. And that you thought it was happening was just in your mind. It was just thoughts. So when you go deeper and deeper into this unification of all things, and then you will start to see that, oh, I don't have to be subject to these conditions, these causes and conditions. I don't have to um, play in this play. I don't have to be part of this play. I
Mhm.
can just watch it. I can just see it, see the appearances coming and going.
Mhm.
The
But still, bad things can happen to you in that state.
As long as you're identifying as a body, yes,
So they only so that you're saying that they only happen to you if you're identifying with the body. Because if you're not identifying with the body, if you're enlightened, bad things don't happen to you.
exactly. It cannot happen to you
But why? Why?
because our nature is inherently blissful and positive and loving, not in the positive way of like positive and negative, not in that way.
Okay.
It's inherently beatific. It's inherently
But
just
but
whole.
isn't that how you would see it, how you would perceive the whole experience? But I mean, you're still a human, you're still in a body, you're enlightened, but you're still a human, you're still in a body.
You're not in a body. As I said before, you never were in a body. You're only experiencing a body. You're identifying
Okay,
as this,
you're
as this.
experiencing a body. You're experiencing a body. So this is not who you are, the body is not who you are, but
No.
you're experiencing it. Yeah?
Hmm.
You're still somehow with that body.
You
It's
mean
your
after
body.
enlightenment?
Yeah.
No. You you have the option of experiencing it or not experiencing it. But the body is on a trajectory. So this prarabdha karma plays out like if you become enlightened before the body dies, then it's like they say it's like switching off a fan,
Hmm.
and the blades just keep going until they stop because there's momentum,
Mhm.
right? So the body is like that. It has this karmic momentum, and then eventually it just goes, it fades, just like all things, like a wave in the ocean. The wave starts very small and it forms and it comes up and then it crashes, and then pretty soon there's
Mm.
no anything. There's no wave anymore. It's just the water becomes flat or it goes into another wave, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like that.
You can choose that.
Yes, because you know that everything is appearances. It's all just appearances. Whatever is playing out is like a hologram. And so it's just like um choosing to relate to an animal that's 50 meters
Mm.
over there. You can relate to it. You can actually feel or sense what it's going through. Like you have a connection to it that where you can identify with it. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
And it's like that because there are all of these things happening, and so you can actually identify with whatever is happening if you want or not, because
Okay.
you have this overhead view, like a
Mm.
bird way up in the sky, and you can see everything that's going on, and you can decide, do I want to take part in that or not? Just like when you're in deep meditation and you have a thought that's playing out, you can decide whether or not you want to identify with that thought, right? Or
Mm.
you can just
What
not
happens to
identify.
the body when you decide to not identify with it?
Well, so it just will keep going on this prarabdha karma
Mhm.
because it's already set in motion. It's like a ball rolling down the hill. It's just going to keep going until it stops, until the
Until it dies.
until it dies. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's anyway, I relate to this idea about karma. However, I really also like the idea of that the body mind has a blueprint and things were set in motion by you or by God or
Mhm.
whatever, and it's playing out, and you can decide to play along with it, or you can opt out and not identify with it. But also, I think for me at least, it seems like I see this trajectory of where this body mind is going, and I can not participate, and that changes things. That changes how things play out. So it seems to me like I have some kind of effect on what's playing out, even though there's a very strong momentum going where it just wants to go this way.
Yeah.
you know,
That's how
like,
I see it. Yeah.
so like sickness and events that happen in life and things like that, like
Hmm.
those are all part of the blueprint. But how I react to them is not. So I have this because I'm able to step back from it and go, oh, I don't really, I have to go through this health issue or whatever, but I I could make it really bad, or I can make it not so bad. You know,
Hmm.
I could lessen the effects of it by changing my behavior, for instance. So it appears that way, even though I'm open to the possibility that
It's still part of the
it's part of the
consequence
whole.
of the blueprint
Yeah,
that you came to a point that
yeah,
that you needed to decide to
exactly,
go
yeah.
that way and
And
not
that
the other
decision
way.
was also part of
Yeah.
the plan. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So I don't know about that, but it's very interesting.
Hmm.
The other thing I will say is the deeper into awareness I go, the less interest I have in questions like this.
Hmm.
Um, because I realize that, oh, it doesn't really matter actually if there is free will or not in this life.
Yeah.
Why does it really matter? If I am just awareness and I am the all there is, the ultimate wisdom, and I'm able to experience some of that. If I am that, then why does it matter if this life that's playing out is done by choice or not? You know,
Yeah. It
it doesn't
doesn't matter.
matter.
Less and less it matters.
Yeah,
I mean, most questions actually, less and less they
right.
matter.
Yeah,
All of
right.
them.
Exactly. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
the other thing is, and I was toying with this idea that maybe they talked about it in this way, about this parabdha karma being all set, everything being set, and you can't do anything to change it. Maybe they did that to take away people's anxiety over their decision making, you know? Maybe they
Hmm.
just maybe it wasn't that way and they just wanted to like
Yeah, but then
people
they realized that it was not working with oppressed people that have an experience of being oppressed, and suddenly they started getting really upset with that idea, and they needed to change
it's
that.
possible.
And so they went to the other extreme.
It's possible. It's possible. But if you're really oppressed and you realize you can't do anything about it, but the thing that you can do is to stop identifying with
Hmm.
any of it, then what's wrong with that? I mean, that's, instead of trying to make the bars on your cage nicer, like
Hmm.
make a golden cage, or to decorate your prison, instead of decorating your prison, you could just get out.
Hmm.
You could just be free from the whole thing. So
Yeah, that depends in what situation that would be put. Because if you're in,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure,
if
of
you're in an
course,
extreme situation that you're fighting for your survival, you're being attacked by, well, I don't know, a bear, a
yeah,
grizzly bear, going after you. uh, okay, what choices do you have there? Like, you decide, I'm gonna stop being attached to the idea that I'm going to die or that I'll suffer probably before I do, and that my body is gonna stay here. And even if you think, great, I'll accept this, and then I'll just be, like I am part of the one. So I'm decided I'm not even gonna run. Would this happen? I don't even know. It's possible. That would be a choice. I'm not even gonna run away. I'm just going to accept this.
yeah,
But then, so I don't know. I have the feeling that from the point that we are still in this body, we might identify or not with it.
hmm,
But from the point that we are still in this body and we're still using this body, we would run. We would act. We would
yeah,
try to survive.
yeah, out
Because
of
that's the
instinct.
point of having a body,
That's the
isn't it?
instinct of the body mind.
Yes,
Yeah,
but okay, that's the instinct. Yeah, and then, how do you know it's the instinct and it's not actually yourself saying, actually, I want to experience you running,
Yeah.
running away from a bear and all the excitement it can bring and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Maybe.
So who knows? That's the thing. It comes a point that maybe we should stop with with questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we should just stop asking questions altogether. We'd be a lot happier. Or we would just be thinking the questions and being frustrated that we can't ask them. Like that's
What
but
would be this that is actually making you decide something? What would be, in your opinion, in your experience, what would be if someone is running away from a grizzly bear? Okay, they have two choices. One would be to just accept it and just come here, bear,
mhm.
and the other would be I'm gonna run away because I want to survive.
Why only
Okay.
two choices?
Oh, give me more. Is there more? I'm just
Sure.
okay. What other? What other would
Well,
be?
there's a bear coming at me,
Uh huh.
and I understand that this is just the body,
Yeah.
but the body has an instinct to it. It wants to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to run away from the bear, but it doesn't really matter in the end if the bear catches me and kills me or not, because I understand that I'm not, I really ultimately understand that I'm not the body. So if the bear kills the body, it doesn't touch me because I'm untouchable because I am
Okay, great. But
awareness.
why do you run then?
That's what I'm saying. The body wants to run. The body mind is a mechanism that
Mm-hmm.
is on a certain trajectory. It acts a certain way, whether you identify with it or not. So because you are not your body. If you were your body, that would be different. But if you knew that you weren't your body, the
So you
body
mean
might
that
still run from
Brahma,
the
the
bear.
okay, but do you mean that Brahma, the great awareness and consciousness and whatever, would not be able to control the body?
I don't think it's like that. I mean, I don't. I think it seems like you're thinking in terms of like this omnipotent God, or
Yeah,
who makes
maybe. Yeah.
decisions. But I'm not thinking in those
Okay.
terms, and I don't think of Brahman as being like that at all. I think that we are all part of Brahman, and Brahman is just this cosmic intelligence that we
Mm-hmm.
all are that is playing.
Mm-hmm.
And if there is a prarabdha karma where we all the things in this life are already predetermined, predestined, and it's just playing out, if that's the case, then that's like God or Brahman has made a decision to carry out this life and
Mm-hmm.
to go in that to go in that direction with this one
Yeah.
tiny aspect of itself to have that experience of whatever that is. So if that's the case, then if I know that and I'm running from a bear because my body mind wants to get away from the bear because it wants to survive,
Mm-hmm.
but I know that I'm not the body mind, I could still be running from the bear and looking at the bear and going, wow, that's a
Smiling at
beautiful
it.
bear. Look
Yeah.
at that bear. Amazing. And it's going to eat this body. It's going to like destroy this body
Yeah.
that cared for itself for
Oh, I'm so
so many
curious to see
years.
how that's gonna play out.
But
Okay,
like
cool. That's nice. It's yeah. Yeah.
there are a lot of things that we think of as opposites. Like things could be one way or the other. One of my teachers talked about this as the diamond deal. The diamond dealer is going to tell you that you can have this diamond for this amount of money, or you can have this crappy diamond over here for much less for this amount.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they give you two choices. So you think, oh, those are the only two choices that you can make.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a third choice, that they didn't tell you about. And
Okay.
so I think that's true for many things in this life with,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're so oriented toward dualism,
Yeah.
that we think, oh, things, if they're not one way, they have to be the other way. And that's how we're conditioned too. We're conditioned
Yeah.
to think that if
Mhm.
things go wrong, or if things don't go right, then they go wrong. They go the opposite way. It's this, but actually life is full of these vicissitudes of, things aren't really opposite. They're just kind of, they're playing out in these subtle ways.
Mhm.
And we don't pick up on that a lot of times because we're conditioned to think in polarities.
Sometimes we need also the polarity and to think in polarity to go to the next step.
Sure, yeah,
Because
I
when
think
we
polarity, yeah,
clarify whatever is the polarity, whatever the polarities are, and then we see that there is no answer there, because life plays in a way that confronts you with that sometimes, then it's easier, it's simpler to go to the next, to the other possibility.
yeah,
Yeah. So
right,
this is also a way of, processing and learning.
yeah,
And
right,
also,
right, yeah. But yeah, I do really think that we're conditioned that way. Like,
mhm.
um, yeah, we're all overreacting to whatever's going on, thinking that if things aren't one way, then they have to be another way, or that we only have two choices
Yeah.
when there are infinite possibilities, and that we're not aware of. So,
Yeah. That's one of the things that was the most important to me recently. It's it's
uh,
understanding how growth can be learning, basically,
uh,
and learning other options. I've seen a lot of people, I've seen family members dying without being able to understand themselves, without being able
yeah,
to process, to learn, to grow. I mean, of course they grew, but I have the feeling that they stayed in a place, and somehow they didn't know how to get out of that or see other possibility, and yeah, and that is sad. It made me think, wow, I don't want to be like that when I die.
yeah, right,
I really want
hmm,
to be in a different state, whatever it is, that is
yeah,
not that angry, sad, accepting sacrifice as the answer for everything. I don't know, all that.
yeah,
So being dying, and while still being so conditioned still, and yeah, and this is also why all this, in the last couple of years, this process of learning about myself and learning how to find new ways, have been
yeah,
so revolutionary, really.
yeah,
I mean, I heard about this, but I never actually believed it.
yeah,
And suddenly, when you're actually doing it and see that it is actually creating something inside of you that is creating possibilities,
yeah,
different possibilities,
yeah,
it's awesome. It's really good. Yeah.
yeah,
But still, there's doubts, and there's still,
yeah, sure,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But I'm realizing also more and more that is just your mind needing this, like going everywhere and measuring everything from every point of view. And it comes a point that, okay, done that. And so what? Is that so important? It's not anymore. And yeah, and that's also why I haven't been having many questions lately. I think, I mean, I might have in the next year, loads more suddenly, but
yeah,
at the moment, I don't. I'm just really learning how to just go. And yeah, fate is important. Yeah, it is, and free will might happen or not. Who knows? And yeah, that's okay. That's fine. It's
yeah,
it's not what most matters. Yeah, it's not what I will think for sure when I die.
right, right,
Oh, did I
yeah,
choose this, or did I choose that? No.
right,
I think we're all gonna think like, did I enjoy this? Did I do it? Like, did I experience enough? To make
yeah,
it worthwhile? Did I? And that's also why suddenly the whole enlightenment idea is not attracting me so much anymore. So I
why is that?
it just came to me the other day that actually I just want to. I mean, it attracts me the whole idea of no suffering and no, yeah, all that lightness, and getting to know that would be great, obviously, but it's not something I want to achieve necessarily. For a little phase, I wanted, I was really like, oh my God, I want to learn this and I want to learn that and I want to, but then I came a point that I just like, but why? I just want to actually be able to enjoy this life here as I am,
Yeah.
you know? I just want to be able to enjoy this life in this body, in this planet, in this story, you know? And okay, not attached to the story. It's a good way, but not deny it too. Why should I deny it also, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's also part of the experience that whatever God,
Yeah.
whatever wants to have is having, and it's
Right.
fine. And I'm fine with accepting that too, because it's good to be here. It's good to be here. It's good to experiment things. It's really cool. If it's me, even if it's me or if it's God or if whatever, it doesn't really matter. To be honest, I don't know. I'm starting to come to a point in my mind, maybe because I overthink so much
Yeah.
that it just comes to a point that I just think, no, I just want to feel good. I want to enjoy. I want to do my best, to be my best, and then die, and that's fine. And
Yeah.
then, yeah,
Right. Right.
yeah.
That's cool.
Is it cool? Because that means I don't have many questions, but I still like to talk. I still like to,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think it's interesting though, that we can talk about these concepts, and free will and fate or destiny are just concepts,
Hmm.
you know? And if if I can understand that they're just concepts, then they don't
Yeah,
really matter to
yeah.
me, you know? And I know that I can go beyond those concepts and experience
Hmm.
life beyond all concepts, which is exhilarating.
Hmm.
It's fantastic to be able to do that, or to not do it, but to be it, you
Yeah,
know? And, but still, it's kind of fun to play around with the concepts, knowing that
sure,
they're
sure.
just
Yeah.
concepts.
But now I'm realizing that more than the concepts, I actually like to play around with what I'm experiencing at the moment.
Yeah,
What is my life at the moment? What
right.
is my life in this body at this moment? And what I can do with it. And,
Yeah,
I like to talk about that too. And I'd like
yeah,
to just accept that,
yeah,
and not try to be somewhere else, that
yeah,
I'm not, or that I'm not even sure I want to.
yeah,
Because I also found the tools, to be honest, to actually feel better with this experience,
yeah, mm,
with this emotional release, meditation, and all that is
yeah,
giving me some. Maybe I'm just being too optimistic, but anyway, for now, I'm, I'm really happy with finding these tools and just to see, okay, well, actually, it makes sense to actually start enjoying this,
yeah,
start just accepting this
yeah,
and stop struggling with everything
yeah. I'm
because I'm pissed off or because I'm frustrated or because I have this karma or I have this fate or whatever, whatever, like it's good to just accept myself as I am and just do my things as I'm here.
Yeah, right.
And I like to talk about that too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds like you've let go of the concept of enlightenment a bit,
Probably.
as being something that you wanted to achieve.
Hmm. Maybe because I came to a point, like as I said, of staying, being all right with this. What was
Yeah,
making me come to the whole um trying to achieve enlightenment, and I know you don't like that perspective, but was actually the suffering and was not being able to let go of this cargo and this weight
yeah,
that I got used to have all the time.
yeah,
And And it was a more like, oh, I need to get free from this. I need to, there has to be something more than this, um but suddenly it's not that important, it's not that important. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll continue to meditate and I'll continue to,
Yeah.
question things and want to understand things, but still it's not so important as it was. It was made out of a survival need,
Right.
and now it's not. Now
Yeah.
it's not there. I don't feel that
Yeah.
survival need anyway, that survival instinct. I mean, for now.
That's
We're
great.
in a safe
Yeah.
house and everything is fine.
There are no bears chasing
and
us.
and learning how to act when I need to. You said this many times in the classes. Like, you will, whatever the situation, as long as you will know, because my fear of changing would be like, what about my tools? What about my fears that give me these tools to deal and to act in a certain way? And I also understood recently that they are there. Whatever I do, they are there.
Yeah.
The stories are there, the memories are there, the learning processes are there. The only thing that can not be there, if I want to decide, is the weight of the emotions and the weight of that is already a big thing. The weight, getting rid of the weight of the
Yeah.
emotions,
Yeah.
it's already a huge thing.
Yeah.
And I think maybe at this point is just, let's see what is life with this, like that. I just want to enjoy that.
Yeah. Fantastic.